Okay, what you're saying, people? Welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get to this, make sure you follow me on my Telegram channel. Left link to that in the live chat, and also the description below, because I'll post a lot of different trading setups there throughout the week, and you don't be missing out on that. But like I said, another live stream, I'm going to talk you through what's happening in the charts today. So you've got any opportunities coming up, and also if I'm in any trades as well. So first up, we're going to start with AUD USD. You can see with this one, we've recently had a push to the downside. We did find support. It's looking like price is currently retracing. As you can see here, we did find support in that area. Previous resistance now turned support, and prices found support there. And it looks like it's slowly pushing to the upside. Probably going to be expecting another swing to the downside here. You can see in the hourly kind of chopping to the upside there. Not real much momentum, so probably going to be seeing another push to the downside probably for AUD. We are still in a bullish trend here for the daily chart here. We haven't really broken any significant levels here. We're still bullish, so potentially you could see price maybe come back to the highs there. But if you start to see some strong impulsive bearish candles coming back into the market there, could easily see another push lower to the downside for AUD. Euro USD, we did see a break of the trend line here recently. As you can see, I've been talking about this trend line here, keeping us in that choppy bullish trend to the upside for Euro USD. So multiple tests across this trend line. We broke past this resistance not too long ago, then we broke back below. So a bit of a false breakout there, a bit of a fake out, and then we saw price come and test the trend line and then broke through it. So we are starting to look quite bearish now for Euro USD, and a break of this trend line could mean we start to see more of a counter trend move to the downside for USD on the daily and the higher time frames. Again, we'll probably be expecting to see a drop in Euro USD soon. You can see we had a big push to the upside on the weekly. We haven't really seen any retrace on the weekly or the daily chart really. So going to be seeing some steeper pullbacks now coming for Euro USD soon for the next coming weeks probably. And again, we'll start to look very bearish now for Euro USD on the Friday as well. So probably going to be seeing some retrace. As you can see, we're currently testing a key level of support across here. Resistance there, support. So currently testing that support level. Might see some retrace, maybe go back and test the resistance, the trend line again, or maybe a little bit higher than that. But probably going to be expecting price to roll over for Euro USD and probably make a lower low again. But probably going to be seeing a lower high first before that happens. So probably going to see some pullback from Euro USD. We've recently had a big push to the downside there on the hourly as well. So probably going to be seeing some brief movements to the upside before probably seeing another push back lower. Next, we'll take a look at GPUSD. Now, GPUSD is still holding that same support area that we were looking at yesterday. As you can see here on the 4-hourly chart, this support here hasn't been broken. Prices tested it 1, 2, 3 times there. I'm probably going to be seeing another push back to the upside for GPUSD. You can see on the daily chart, kind of just a lot of indecision really. Nothing really going on there. We have previous resistance here. You can see on the daily chart, push to the upside. Then we've got this bearish candle here, which is showing us the resistance, came back down, push up again. So far, we're just testing that bearish candle there. So that resistance is now acting as support. So you can see why we're getting that consolidation, that sideways movements, because we're testing some daily support area across here. So you can see why we're moving sideways, but again, not much to go on for GPUSD. If you do hold this level, I'll probably see another push back to the upside for GPUSD, at least back to this high here, but probably back to the highs up here where we've recently found our latest swing high. So probably favouring another push to the upside for GPUSD if we still remain and hold this level. If we don't and we see a push lower, probably going to start to see more of a counter trend move and probably come back to this level here in the market. As you can see, this is what gave us that big movement to the upside, so probably going to be seeing a move into that if we do break through this support. But so far we are holding it and probably favouring another move to the upside for GPUSD. But currently, as you can see, this all this price here is all consolidation. So again, quite hard to work out which way price could go. But from the price action we're getting there and the fact that we're holding that previous daily resistance and support is showing signs that we could be in for another move higher. USD/JPY, we saw a big push to the upside recently for this one. Price of a couple fake outs, breakouts at the lows here. As you can see, big push to the downside, one big push to the downside, number two, and then from there we saw a big push to the upside. You can see on the daily chart as well, Yesterday's movement to the upside for USD is quite big. Big push to the upside, started to look very bullish. Now we've almost come and test that trend line there on the daily chart. I said we're probably going to get a fifth test this week, probably of USD/JPY. You can see initial test there, second, third, fourth. Haven't quite tested it, but we come to around that area, so we're probably going to start seeing swings back to the downside now for USD/JPY. You can see we had a big push to the upside. This is the last time we really found support in this leg. So again, push up, found support, and then push back to the upside. So going to be probably seeing some swings to the downside for USD/JPY as price retraces, pullbacks. Goes to find some support and probably expect another push to go really test that trend line. So far, in the hourly, you can see very strong bearish price action there. So maybe you're going to see a push to the downside first, but I do think we still do have a little bit more room to the upside for USD/JPY. But again, we're in no real place to look for buys right now. Probably wanted to buy the market back here. Here, probably can see the market sell off a little bit. USD/CHF, we did see a big push to the upside as well with this one. As you can see, this was the price swing low. Swing low, push back up, broke through that level. Now we broke back above. So again, probably going to see some retrace for USD/CHF since we just had that big push to the upside. We do have this little bit of a trend line here. If I connect the recent highs there, so initial test there, second there, not the strongest of trend lines because it's only two tests. Obviously, want more than that for the stronger trend lines, but potentially could see it move into that area potentially. Again, no real opportunity here. We already had the push to the upside, kind of trading in no man's land really. From a daily point of view, you can see we did get some very strong bullish price action on the daily chart. So again, we've got that bearish candle, the doji, and then the bullish. So very strong morning star pattern. So could see another push to the upside in the next coming days, probably obviously next week because the market closes today, but could be seeing that continue out through next week and probably another push to the upside. And if you do break out that trend line, could finally see a move into this area of the market here. All of this support never got retested. We just kind of just broke through, didn't really get a retest, so we could be in for that move to go and retest that area of resistance. So bias is probably longer term to the upside, but probably going to be seeing some retrace now for USD/CHF. Next, I'm going to look at GBP/JPY. Now GBP/JPY is still looking very bullish here. You can see we kind of had this push to the upside, price found support here, found some resistance, so we're kind of ranging a little bit, but I do think we're probably going to break out to the upside now for GBP/JPY. As I was saying, we do have that area of resistance where price found a lot of bearish momentum from. As you can see, very strong area of resistance. Got to push it all the way down to the lows here, so price is kind of just slowly climbing back up to that high, it looks like. And again, we can see very strong bullish price action coming into that that resistance level. We haven't broken it yet, but it does look like potentially we'll probably see a break for GBP/JPY and probably see price move up to that 142 level up there. So that's what I'm probably thinking GBP/JPY wants to go to. Obviously, don't really want to buy into resistance there. Probably have to wait for price to pull back. But again, as long as we break through that resistance, I do think 142 is the next level. If we hold this, again, we'll probably see another leg to the downside because at that point we're just kind of consolidating a little bit. But I do think we have a good chance of breaking to the upside there. Next time we'll look at Euro/JPY. Euro/JPY, we saw a big push to the upside with this one. As you can see, previous support there, we held that area. Then we saw a big push to the upside as well. Probably going to see some retrace now for this pair. You can see on the daily chart, kind of moving very choppy. We didn't really see a proper breakout of that consolidation. That kind of saw prices chopping, ranging and then slowly breaking to the upside. So you can see we're slowly making those higher highs and those higher lows. Probably going to be seeing another push to the downside, maybe into this level here in the market, and then maybe see another push up higher and finally see price really break to the upside maybe. But if you do break up this support, I probably think we'll come back to the lows again for Euro/JPY. But as of yet, very strong bearish momentum there on the 4-hourly and the hourly as well. So probably going to be seeing another push up higher first, but I do think we can stretch down a little bit lower for Euro/JPY, at least to this level here, which I haven't quite tested yet. And if we break through that, I do think we could probably come down to this level. But you can see on the daily chart we are making those slower, higher highs and those higher lows. So probably going to be seeing another retrace before maybe another push up higher again. Euro/GBP is starting to look very bearish currently on the 4-hourly chart. Big push to downside. for Euro GBP. You can see we had a push to the upside. I'm still treating that as retrace. You can see we'll be making those lower lows and those lowest highs for Euro GBP. You can see the kind of double top there, and then fell to the downside, made a lower low, back up, lower high, lower low, and now I'm finally seeing price move to the downside again for Euro GBP. So I'm expecting price to at least come back to test this lows here for Euro GBP, and if we do break that, probably to come and test this level all the way down here on the daily time frame. Really key level that we haven't tested in a while yet, so probably going to be seeing another test of that level eventually, but again, probably more of a long-term point of view. Again, probably going to see maybe that happen in a couple of weeks time potentially, but Euro GBP is looking very bearish here. Probably going to see that momentum continue. We did break through this strong support area here in the market, kind of holding us, moving sideways. We broke through it this morning, so probably going to see that momentum continue and probably create some lower lows there in the market. Euro CAD, we're looking very bearish for this one as well. We recently saw push to downside, back up again, push downside, back up again, another push down. So probably going to see another pullback or maybe a reversal, because we are testing a very strong area of previous resistance and support on the daily time frame. So you can see here a big push to the upside, creating some higher highs. So potentially could see another push to the upside for Euro CAD. Again, very strong area of previous resistance now turns support. You can see the price action so far on Friday is very bearish at the moment in time, and of course as long as price remains bearish, probably easy to see a break of that level and price go a lot further. But if you do hold, probably favouring a swing back to the upside for Euro CAD, potentially can go a lot further if it wants to, but again the price action isn't quite there yet. We are still looking very bearish there. Next, we'll take a look at Euro AUD. Now Euro AUD, we saw a big push to the downside. This one's still very bearish here. You can see on the daily chart, we're actually breaking out of this consolidation to the downside, it looks like. As you can see, all this consolidation here, resistance there, the support there. We're consolidating there for a few months, broke to the downside, and looks like price is really taking off to the downside there. Could probably see some retrace from a weekly point of view. As you can see, weekly we broke to the downside. Could be seeing a retest of that level from a weekly point of view before we really take off. But again, on the 4-hourly chart, we are looking bearish there, and again, no bullish price action whatsoever. So as long as price stays like that, potentially can see price go a lot further. Next, we're going to take a look at CAD JPY. Now, CAD JPY, we saw a big push to the upside. We broke through this recent swing high level. As you can see, acting as support, time resistance. We saw a big push to the downside, and price found support and just shot right back to the upside. So we're looking quite bullish now for CAD JPY. We still do have this range here, but it looks like we could be seeing a breakout to the upside with this new price action for CAD JPY. As you can see, we took off to the upside, tested it again, and looks potentially like we're going to create a new high to the upside for CAD JPY. Probably going to see some retrace first, because we just recently saw a big move into that level, so probably going to see some retrace there. As you can see in the 4-hourly chart, a big push, really didn't see any pullback, so probably going to see the market find some support, pull back a little bit, and since we are in a very strong area of resistance as well. But I do think we can probably see a breakout of CAD JPY to the upside now. As you can see, if I zoom out, had a big push to the upside, and then price since then just been consolidating here. But I do think since we're making those higher highs within that range, potentially could see a break to the upside for CAD JPY now, and maybe price take off a little bit to the upside potentially. I'm not sure if we'll come all the way up to the highs up here, but I do think we could see a nice push to the upside for CAD JPY. Next, I'm taking a look at GBP NZD. Now GBP NZD, probably expecting another push to the upside for this one. As you can see, was acting as support. Probably going to expect another push into this area at least. Break through that. If we break through this area, I do think GBP NZD can come into this area here, because as you can see in the 4-hourly, this was kind of the last major support. So probably going to come and retest that area of resistance, then maybe fall back down again. But because we did see a nice break of this support here earlier, so I think GBP has got moved to the upside to go and test this area potentially. It might see price fall back down again, or if we do find some strong support, see a nice push to the upside as well for that one. Next, we've taken a look at Euro AUD. Now already took a Euro AUD, Euro NZD, sorry. Next, take a look at Euro NZD. This one, again, similar to Euro AUD, we saw another push to the downside there. Just previous area of support acting as resistance, fell to the downside as well for that one. If I zoom out to the daily chart, again, still looking very bearish. Weekly, I do think we're coming up to this level here in the market where we saw price really take off to the upside. As you can see here, if I zoom in, this is the recent support level which we saw the momentum take off to the upside. It looks like we are coming in to test that same area. So again, still got a few pips, well, about 50 maybe to the downside. So I still think there's some room to the downside for USD before we start seeing any major pushes back to the upside. You can see in the 4-hourly still looking very bearish there as well. Hourly looking very bearish there as well. So no real opportunities for USD as long as we're still getting this bearish price action here. We are still looking very bearish there and probably expecting price to continue in that way. Next, going to take a look at NZD-CAD. Now, NZD-CAD, we did see a nice push to the downside for this one. We kind of do have a little bit of a channel for NZD-CAD. If I connect the highs up here, as you can see here, test up there, and if I connect this trend line here, so again, do have a little bit of a channel. It's not the cleanest one for NZD-CAD, but we are sort of moving the channel. So naturally, do expect price to break to the downside of the channel and probably see a nice swing to the downside there. With this pair, you can see on the daily chart we did break above this key area of resistance. As you can see, previous resistance was turned support when we held above it. So again, we still have quite a big barrier we needed to break it. You can see the momentum that we had from that level, very strong bearish momentum from that level. So again, you can expect bullish momentum as well from the same level, but on the flip side. From hourly point of view, probably can see another push into that level. We still do have that trend line, and if you do see a break of that trend line, probably going to finally see that move into that support there. But I do think the bigger move for NZD-CAD is to the downside and see a big push there. Probably going to see some retrace first before that happens. You can see on the hourly kind of finding some support here on the 4-hourly charts. On the hourly charts, I might see another push up higher before we do see price really take off to the downside. I do think we could probably see some retrace and then price really take off to go and test this area here and probably see a bounce up because, again, very strong area of daily resistance and daily support. So currently I'm in GPAUD and USD-CAD. You can see for GPAUD we kind of fell to the downside first, kind of retesting that same area of support. I'm still in this trade though. Again, you can see the previous support all across there, still hanging on to this. If you do see a break below that support, I'll probably look to exit the trade there for GPAD, but still looking to see if you can take this higher to the upside. Again, we still have this key level of support there on the 4-hourly. We didn't really get a retest off, so I was looking for a move back into that area, and if we break through that, I can probably go a lot higher, but still looking for a swing to the upside for GPAD into that level there potentially. But so far, kind of just fell back to the downside and retesting that area of support there. So I'm going to see how the trade gets on. If we do get a break of that level there for GPUD, if you do get a break at that level, I'll probably look to exit the trade. But so far, kind of just consolidating at that level. So going to see how it plays out during the live stream. If anyone wants me to look at any different charts, any different pairs, or just wants my opinion, just put it down in the live chat and I'll make sure I'll get back to you and give you some analysis. But yeah, just going to see how this trade gets on and also take a look at the other pairs as well. Okay, so going to take a quick look at GPAD and AUD/USD. So start with GPAD. For this one, I'm currently in this trade as well. I'm looking for a swing to the upside here. You can see we're currently right at the weekly lows. We'll go to the weekly chart, we're right at the weekly lows. Probably going to be expecting some pullbacks to happen in the market now to the upside, obviously. So again, we have previous 4-hourly support there, push to the downside. So looking for a swing back into the area. That was the last major support on the 4-hourly chart that we found. Then we shot to the downside, and now looking for a retest of the area of resistance. But if you do see a break of that, potentially you can see a lot more room to the upside could be. So we could see a bigger swing to the upside potentially. But on the hourly time frame, we did see price kind of pull back a little bit. Now we're kind of just moving in a bit of consolidation. As you can see here, this is all basically consolidation, and we're currently testing that previous support that currently looking to buy off from. So I'm expecting GPAD to give us that swing to the upside to go and test this area here potentially. If you do go and break through this support, probably could be seeing a breakout to the downside, because again, we are still in that bearish trend there on the higher time frame. So if that does break, you could see price go a lot further. But as long as we hold this level, I'm still thinking that we could see another push to the upside to go and test this area in the market as resistance here, or potentially go even further if you wanted to. But currently consolidating, so it just depends which way price wants to break out to. But I'm still expecting a swing to the upside to go and test the area for GPAUD. AUD/USD, with this one, again, we did see a push to downside. We are testing some strong area of previous resistance and support, but I'm still treating this as retrace. As you can see, we didn't kind of get much momentum when we tested the area. As you can see previously here, when we tested some previous area of resistance and support, we had a big shift in momentum, and we saw price really break to the upside from this area. Here you can see we're kind of just slowly chopping our way to the upside. So again, I am expecting a swing to the downside for AUD/USD. Not sure if we will break through this area. If we do break through this area, we can see price go a lot further potentially. But I do think we can see a swing to the downside for AUD/USD. Maybe price might trickle up a little bit higher to go and really test the highs again. That's still a possibility here. But I do think we can see a nice swing to the downside for AUD/USD. Yeah, I'll take a look at USD/CAD as well, which are also currently in that trade as well from yesterday. So again, still looking for a swing to the upside here. You can see previously when we were at this support, we did see a big push to the downside. Now we're back here creating some new lows. So I do think we can see a nice push to the upside, even from a daily view as well. I do think we can see a nice swing to the upside. Currently, price is literally consolidating now as well for USD/CAD. As you can see, if I just put that in a box there, so you can see big strong move to the downside, but all this price action here is kind of just consolidating. So again, just depends which way price wants to break out to. If you do see a strong break to the upside, I do think we could be on our way to create some higher highs and see a nice swing to the upside. But currently we are still holding this area of support here. So again, you can see that support. If I take that across, we're still holding that support. So potentially if you break through this support on the 4-hourly time frame, might see another lower low before we see the trade eventually work and see that push up higher again. But so far, USD/CAD kind of just consolidating on the 4-hourly chart. Hourly, we saw a big strong move to this area. So for me, if this area doesn't hold and we see a push lower, probably can see price come to the lows here, or maybe you can create a lower low, and then we see the eventually the price shift from bearish to bullish, and then see the move higher. But right now, kind of just consolidating there, and just want to see which way price could eventually break to for USD/CAD. But for GPAD and AUD/USD, I think we can see moves to come from that one. But again, GPAD kind of just retesting that support, could be seeing a swing back up, and AUD/USD could be seeing a swing to the downside as well. Break through this area, this price can go a lot lower. Again, slowly trickling to the upside, but I do think we can see a nice drop for AUD/USD. But again, you need to watch out for some price action there, because again, price could just trickle all the way to the upside as well for that one. So you need to keep that in mind. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at GPNZD and GPJPY. So GPNZD again moves similar to GPAD. So again, expecting a swing to the upside for this one as well. Back to this level here, potentially again, previous area of support in the 4-hourly chart will be time resistance. So expecting to see a move into this area, then potentially see price again fall back to the downside. For GPNZD, as you can see, we did have a strong break of that level, so expecting to see a retest potentially, then maybe we see price fall back to the downside for this one. But again, are starting to see some strong bullish price action coming back into the market. So again, expecting GPNZD to see a swing into that area potentially, and then maybe fall back to the downside if you do find some resistance there. For GPJPY, I'm actually expecting price to probably go and break this level actually to the upside, because you can see on the daily chart we did see a strong push to the downside. I'm still expecting price to eventually to get to that resistance from a daily point of view, so more of a long term, but we did see a really strong drop to this area, to the downside from that area, and I do think price is wanting to go back and test that area from a daily point of view. 4-hourly, again, kind of just consolidating between the support and also resistance. And again, we haven't actually broken out that resistance yet, so we could easily see price fall back to the downside. But from a 4-hourly point of view, you can see that we are starting to have those strong bullish candles coming into the area. You can see when previously testing this area of resistance, mainly wicks were coming into this area. Now on the 4-hourly time frame, we're seeing candle closes into the area, so it is showing price could potentially break through the area and see a nice push to the upside. But again, hourly point of view, probably see a drop maybe before that happens, but again, I mainly deal with the price action on the 4-hourly chart. We are starting to look a little bit bullish at this level. So again, it hasn't broken yet, so we could easily see price maybe push the downside again, because it is still resistance. It has rejected price twice before that, is still resistance. But again, I do think price will probably break through this area and see another push to the upside for GPJPY. We might see a pullback before that happens, maybe into this area here. Again, previous support and resistance there, so might see a pullback into this area and then price goes and break it. Obviously don't really buying into resistance there, but I do think GPJPY might find a little bit of resistance, move to the downside, but the bigger move is still to the upside. I don't think we'll get all the way to the lows down here for GPJPY. So that's just my bias on that, because again, from a daily point of view, still looking bullish here, and I do think we can have another push to the upside for that one. So that's what I'm expecting for GPJPY. We could still get a swing to the downside, but I just think it's more likely to see another push higher and break through that resistance there. Okay, so again, take a quick look at Euro JPY. Okay, so Euro JPY currently for this one, still looking a little bit bullish on the daily chart here. So you're making this higher highs and there's higher lows. Recently, last couple of days, we had another pushy upside, creating another higher high there. We do have this area though that we need to be aware of. Again, previous daily of resistance turned daily support, so do you need to be aware of that. If you're looking for sales, you're going to be selling into that area, so again, need to be aware of that. If you do see a break of that, we can go a lot further. Strong area of resistance there turned support. If you do break through that level, which is the daily resistance turned support, again, you'll probably see a longer swing back to the downside, but again, need to be aware of that. If I come to the hourly again, see a strong push to the downside. Again, probably could be seen maybe price roll over again, but do need to be aware of what type of price action we do have in the market here. If we do see another push to the upside, maybe back to the highs up here, could potentially see another swing back down again, but be aware of getting into the trade maybe a bit too early. Or a bit too late, because I do feel like we do have some outside potential since all the price action in the higher time frames like the daily chart. We are breaking past some resistance there, and that will be turned support, so we need to be aware of that. And it looks like price has tested that support with this bearish candle coming here on the 4-hourly, and these bearish candles there in the hourly as well. So it's a little bit of, we've got strong support, but again, we could be seeing price maybe make another push really to go and test this lows again and then continue higher, because I do feel like Euro JPY could make another push to the upside long term. You can see it on the weekly as well, closing at some new highs there, so we could easily see another bullish week for next week as well. So obviously short term, probably going to see maybe another push to the downside, but probably be looking to take your profits early, just because I feel like we could see another push higher. If you do actually go and break through this area again, we'll probably see maybe another push all the way down to the lows here. So again, that will probably be a broken daily support, so I'll probably see that price go a lot further if that happens. But as you can see, we have that strong bearish move into that support, and you can see we're having a bounce from that support, so probably going to see price maybe come back to the highs, maybe around that area, and maybe see price give us another swing back to the downside. But again, I don't think this trade will go that far unless it breaks through that support. Eurocad's actually, like you said, coming to a really nice area of previous resistance turned support. So you can see this area in the market here is all resistance on the daily chart, will be turned support as well. And we recently just made a higher high in the market, so could be seeing another push to the upside for Eurocad. Again, on the 4-hourly time frame, we saw a nice push to the downside to go and test that area. You can see if I connect that wick here, which is the wick that gave us this move to the upside here, you can see pushed to the upside, retraced, formed that wick, and from there we saw that big push up, and you can see we've almost actually kind of tested it. So from this area, generally, I think we could see another swing to the upside. You can see the nature of the market as well. Big push to the downside, swing back up, push to the downside, swing back up, big push to the downside. So naturally, you do expect the market to at least retrace to the upside. But if you do gain a lot of bullish momentum, something like we saw here, we could easily see a new swing to the upside, and a really nice swing to the upside there on the higher time frames like the daily. So again, a lot of upside potential for Eurocad. We're coming into that very strong support area on the daily chart, so you could see a nice swing to the upside, and the hourly as well. Price action is looking like it's shaping up as well. 4-hourly still a little bit of a way to go to see any strong price action in the 4-hourly chart, but again, could be seeing some swings to the upside now for Eurocad. And I also think we do have this trend line here as well in the market a little bit. So again, initial test there, second, third test, could be seeing another push to the upside. So yeah, Eurocad coming to a strong area, could easily see another push higher, but again, we're going to be waiting for those confirmation candles to see if we can take that higher, but could be seeing a swing to the upside for Eurocad. Okay, so it's just gone 12:30, so I'm going to wrap up the live stream in a second, but I'm going to do a quick rundown of some of the charts I looked at 10 a.m. and see how they got on. So AUSD still looking a little bit bullish here. You can see on the hourly still looking a little bit bullish, still making those higher highs. Need to see some strong bearish price action for us to anticipate a swing lower, but we are bouncing off that strong support there. You can see previous resistance turn support is bouncing off that. As long as price stays bullish, we can probably expect price to come back up to the highs potentially, or maybe create a higher high if it does have enough momentum. But so far there's no bearish price action there. Price is still looking bullish. So again, probably can be seeing another push to the upside, back to the highs potentially. Euro USD, we broke through the trend line, could be seeing some retrace now. You can see price action, there's a lot of wicks around there in the market, broke through the trend line there, a lot of wicks, so probably going to be seeing a push to the upside as we retrace that, but could be seeing another push lower. On the daily chart, again, you can still see we need a close below there on the daily chart. So far, if today's candle does close below, that could be, again, a significant break of the trend line. Could be seeing another push lower. But if you do see today's candle pull all the way back up, close bullish, and still respect the trend line, could easily see another push to the upside next week if that happens. But so far on the 4-hour chart, we are looking bearish there. Going to be anticipating some pullbacks, but still, as long as we stay below the trend line, still expecting price to give us moves to the downside. USD we did see a big push to the upside, now expecting that to retrace. Again, we're right back up highs, almost hit the trend line. So again, still maybe a little bit of room to go and test the trend line maybe, but again, you can see a lot of wicks down the 4-hourly to the upside now, so probably going to start to see some retrace. Really nice area of previous resistance all across here. You can see resistance there, resistance also wicked at as well, so it could be seeing a drop to that area potentially, but nonetheless, probably expecting some pullbacks for USD now. And USD you can see was starting to pull back again there. Did see this move to the downside, back up again, downside, back up again. Naturally expect the price to fall back down, at least to go find some support. We are starting to look bearish on the hourly as well. So again, potentially could see another push to the downside, maybe back to the lows if we do see some strong levels of support breaking, but we are starting to look bearish again and potentially could see another push lower for USD. Currently GPAUD for me, again, still moving sideways, like I said earlier, kind of still in this area of consolidation here. We need to see price breakout to one direction or the other. No real update on that. Again, still have the support there. My stop loss is just below it. If you see a break of that support, I'll probably look to exit the trade there. And also USD, not much has happened. Still kind of consolidating along the support there. You can see on the hourly chart, still respecting this area of support. So just to see what happens with USD. If you do get a move lower, I'll probably exit the trade and look to get back in if you do get some more confirmations. But I still think USD we've still got a lot of room to move to the upside for a nice swing there potentially for next week or maybe the week after. So we'll take a look for that next week. But that is the end of the live stream. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it useful. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video if you're feeling generous. But like I said, it's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and until the next one, I will see you later.